My name is Keith Horn, and welcome to the aftermath of a story behind Joshua Ritchie here. How you doing today? Alright, so I understand that you and your ex-wife, Cindy, were enrolled to be on the Steve Wilkos show.
Correct.
And I also understand it that you guys took a polygraph test.
Twice, and both first time was one way, and then the second time to mix the questions around.
Gotcha. And so the episode was about you supposedly abusing your kids, abusing your ex-wife, and raping her. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, a lot of things happened on the show. You kind of blew up a little bit. She kind of blew up a little bit. Well, I shouldn't say a little bit. She
She
tossed a
exploded.
chair, didn't she?
And attacked me.
And tried to attack you, and Steve Wilkos threw you out of the way. Part of this show included the breaking of his oldest child's leg, Sebastian. She blamed you for breaking his leg, correct?
Her family and friends all blamed me.
Now, the time frame of when your oldest son, Sebastian's leg was broken, she had the kid, right?
Correct.
And she denied it.
Correct.
I have a document here saying otherwise.
Signed and dated by both of us.
Stamped. I can see that. March 17th, 2012. He, the father of his sons, uh, put together a document stating when Cindy had the kids from March 17th to March 18th, 2012, and was to have them returned on the 18th at 7 o'clock. What actually happened that night?
Well,
I understand it. She called you
well
3 hours later.
Yeah, after repeatedly contacting her family, nobody can get hold of her supposedly. And then supposedly about 3 hours later, about 10 o'clock, 10:30 that night, when she was supposed to bring back 7 p.m. that day, nobody can get hold of her. Friends went over by her place to try and find her. Nobody could because she wasn't there. And then she decides to call me with my oldest son screaming bloody in the background, like he's literally being physically hurt. And she was sitting there begging me to get him to stop crying. I tried and everything. It was to the point I could not hold the phone in my ear. It was about this far from my head. And I said, "What the hell is going on with my son right now?" And she proceeded saying that it was gas. No 3-year-old child will ever scream bloody murder the way he did over gas. So I proceeded, after getting off the phone with her, calling the sheriff's department and had them go investigate. They confirmed supposedly it was gas. So I told her to keep the boys overnight because I didn't want her driving back that late at night with the boys in the car, and then to have them back the next day. And then find out about 2 hours later she was in the emergency room after I got off the phone with her with my youngest son, claiming that he had thrush. And all he had was just an infection. That's it. And this is a repeated thing. Every time she has the boys, they come back with bruises. They're always in the emergency room being sick. My oldest son was in an ambulance because he choked on a hot dog. And then my youngest son, he almost died at the age of 4 months because he got pneumonia to the point that I had him back for an hour visit, or for a visit, and I've only had him for an hour. And I said, right, he's not sleeping, he's not moving, so I took him to the emergency room. And the doctors, I've had 3 doctors, a bunch of nurses tell me, but I did not bring in my son that night. He would have died that night.
And this is all related back to your ex-wife.
Yes, how irresponsible she is with my kid. And The only reason I allowed her to have the visit with the boys at the time of the incident with my son's leg is because she was, by what I've been told, that she's staying away from the drugs. She's doing everything she was requested of. Come to find out, she wasn't. Afterwards.
And according to the show, she denied that too.
Yes.
Well, here's the document proving that it was signed by both parents, that Cindy had the kids at the time Sebastian, their oldest son, had his leg broken. I'm going to start here. So, about the show, there was a lot of anger going on, am I correct?
Correct.
A lot of denial with your ex-wife, and you were getting pretty tense yourself there at first.
Right.
That's pretty understandable. I mean, I watched the whole show. Your ex-wife just tried to fill the audience and Steve Wilkos' head with lies.
That's all she can do. She's a compulsive liar. She manipulates people. She plays them to get what she wants. She lies to them, playing her sympathy. Oh, you cry me crap. She is a worthless piece of shit.
Right. And so, during, I don't know, middle end of the show, Steve Wilko was reading off the polygraph test questions. Now, some of these questions were about your supposedly abusing your kids. Did you abuse your kids?
Not once. Or actually, I take that back. That one time I did slap my son. And
Right.
that's only the first and last time I ever did anything
And
like
you
that.
regret it.
Yes.
And it will never happen again. Lesson learned, right?
Yep.
And so, another one of the questions was you raped Cindy.
Right.
That's not true.
No.
And
She's both times it happened, she played me saying, "Okay, we're gonna get back together. We're gonna do counseling where it took to make things work between us." She's done that average 4 times, and I can't believe I given him so many times, thinking that she meant it, but she never did. In fact, before the show, she told me that we're gonna get back together. She was gonna even say it on the show that we're gonna get back together and work things out.
with her current boyfriend being on the show.
Correct. That she was gonna admit that me and her were gonna get back together right in front of him on the TV show. And I kept telling her, "Yeah, I'm sorry, you cried wolf to me damn times. How am I supposed to believe you this time?" So she proceeded on playing me again because to get what she wanted.
Right. So,
And just to verify this, I only did this show to prove my innocence, that I never raped her, that I don't abuse my kids, and that I did not break my son's leg.
right, and I got some notes on
And
the
then,
polygraph test here, so I believe you, man.
and then with the part about the son with his wrist being broken, that was during the visit supervised by me in an area where I used to live at the time, and he ended up having a blister on his hand that looked like he was burnt by a lighter or something, and just showed up out of nowhere. Because we were sitting there getting ready to eat lunch, and I said, "You know what, let's take an emergency room, let's find out where this came from." And we get there and find out from the time that my sons and I fell over on icy sidewalk that during the fall he ended up breaking his wrist. And we didn't know at all until about 4 or 5 days later. So it was not her that transported him to the hospital. It was my decision from the beginning.
And she didn't want to.
No.
Talk about a demonic mom with no maternal instinct whatsoever. Just a few more questions about the show, Josh. Her spurt, her little anger. What happened exactly? What was it like? What was the feeling? But after she was asked her questions, being told that she wasn't telling the truth. What was that whole scene like for you?
Well, I was sitting there, and after him reading my polygraph results, I was relieved because it proved I was telling the truth, like I had been for the last 2.5 years, 3 years almost. And as soon as he read the results of her lying, on a polygraph about my son's leg, I had so much anger in me and so much sadness. I didn't know what to do. I was speechless. My old me when I was a teenager, yeah, I would have went across the stage and went after her boyfriend to take my anger out. But I've learned to control my anger, unlike her, because there's more to life, and I want to teach my kids right from wrong and be able to control their attitude.
Well, it sounds like you have some awesome and very deep-hearted paternal instincts, being a father of these two children. Now, just recently, I understand you've been enrolled in court. This is upon your ex-wife's doing, saying to put the kids in foster care.
Correct. The last court date, the CPS worker, she was claiming that I wasn't being compliant with my case plan, which I have in fact. I've been working my butt off dealing with that, plus my own medical situation with my lawsuit. And then turn around and CPS, or not CPS, the House Guidance Litem, the representatives for my son, they were in my house for maybe 10 minutes, and they made some accusations to only be in my house for 10 minutes when they were picking up the boys for their visit with their mom. And there is no way anybody can make those conclusions like what they were saying in court. So their attorney requested, after my ex did, of asking them to put the kids in foster care because I was being compliant. And as they were doing that, my ex-wife and her sister were sitting there in the courtroom laughing with big old smirks on their faces and making a big old joke about it. And I'm sorry to say it, but nobody in their right mind would request their kids to be put in foster care just because they don't want the kids with their ex. That's not right to do.
I,
And
I totally agree with you, man.
as we're walking out of the courtroom after my kids were ordered to be put in foster care, they both walked out of that courtroom laughing and giggling like it was just a comedy. And at the time, during this whole case, she admitted to biting my kids, putting cayenne pepper in their mouths, beating them, leaving unexplained markings on them. And then one day, the CPS worker came to the house, and she had the guts to say that my ex-wife did not have an anger problem. Anybody that she's known for all of her life can testify to the fact that she does have, in fact, an anger problem. She has a history of battery, assault, drug charges, traffic violations, all on her criminal record. Clear back to when she was in elementary school, throwing desks, throwing books at the teacher.
Alright, let me just stop you there for a second. To prove that she really does have anger problems, you can watch the show after this video. He will post a link to the show. You have it posted on YouTube?
Yes.
It's also all over YouTube. Proof and evidence of this woman's vile actions. Anyways, back to your court cases. So what's going on now?
Right now, I'm working my butt off, being proof that I am being compliant with my case plan, and I will get my kids out of foster care. I don't care how much it costs me, but I will get them out of there. Because simple fact, they have no reason to be in there. Because I'm the only person in their life that's ever fought for them, that loves them and takes care of them. I've been taking care of them ever since my youngest son wasn't even 2 weeks old. I got emergency custody of them when my youngest was only 2 weeks old.
You definitely sound like a very loving father. Now, some questions about the court. Alright guys, we're coming to an end. Just one more question. They're trying to develop a third court
Case plan.
right?
Which I'm going to make sure that doesn't go through because they already made one and then they made a second. And now they want to make a third and make this delay longer, which the boys been through enough.
Alright.
But our time's up because YouTube only allows 15 minutes, so Stay tuned for a second video, and we'll see you guys.